Welcome to Study and Learn Academy. I am Dr. Ganapat Nagda. We have already discussed about the types of solutions. This is second lecture of chapter second is matter around us pure. So you can see this slide is showing the state of solvent, the state of solute, the state of solution and examples. Now state of solvent like gas, state of solute gas, and state of solution is also gas. Examples are air and natural gas. Then you can see liquid, and examples are alcoholic beverage. So you can see the various types of solution. Now the general characteristics of solution. Solutions are homogeneous mixture of two or more substances. Constituent particles of a solution are mixed evenly throughout. There is only one phase in a solution. Boundaries of constituent particles cannot be distinguished in solution. The size of particles of solution is smaller than nanometer. Solutions do not show Tyndall effect because small particles of solution do not scatter the ray of light. So these are the various characteristics of solution. Now you can divide solution into two parts. One is saturated and another one is unsaturated solutions. So what is a saturated solution? Saturated solution, when a solution cannot dissolve more solute at a given temperature, the point is called saturation point of the solution, and solution is called saturated solution. This means no more solute can be dissolved in a saturated solution at a given temperature. The another important type of solution is unsaturated solution. Solution in which more solute can dissolve at a given temperature is called unsaturated solution. So you can see in this particular slide unsaturated solution and saturated solutions with example. Now the next important topic is solubility. So what is solubility? Solubility is the amount of solute in a saturated solution at a given temperature. In other words, maximum capacity to dissolve a solute in a solution at a given temperature is called solubility. Different solvents can dissolve different amount of solute. This means different solvents have different solubility. Solubility increases with increase in temperature. It means the relationship between solubility and temperature is directly proportional. Concentration. Concentration is the amount of solute present in a given amount of solvent or solution. This means concentration equal to amount of solute upon amount of solvent or amount of solute upon amount of solution. Thus, concentration is the ratio of amount of solute and amount of solvent. Concentration can be expressed in mass percentage or volume percentage of a solution. Mass percentage of a solution. This means when concentration is expressed in mass percentage, it is called concentration by mass percentage. So you can see concentration equal to volume of solute upon volume of solution into 100. Volume percentage of a solution. This means when concentration is expressed in volume percentage, it is called concentration by volume percentage. The next topic is suspension. A suspension is a heterogeneous mixture in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. Particles of a suspension are visible to the naked eye. Now, what are the properties of a suspension? Suspension is a heterogeneous mixture. The particles of a suspension can be seen by the naked eye. The particles of a suspension scatter a beam of light passing through it and make its path visible. The solute particles settle down when a suspension is left undisturbed. That is, a suspension is unstable. They can be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. What are the colloidal solutions? A colloidal solution, occasionally identified as a colloidal suspension, is a mixture in which a substance is regularly suspended in a fluid. A colloid is a minutely small material that is regularly spread out all through another substance. Now, what are the properties of the colloid? A colloid is a heterogeneous mixture like suspension. The size of particle of a colloid is too small to be individually seen by naked eyes. Colloids are big enough to scatter a beam of light passing through it and make its path visible. They do not settle down when left undisturbed. That is, a colloid is quite stable. They cannot be separated from the mixture by the process of filtration. So these are the various properties you can see of colloidal solution. The components of a colloidal solution are the dispersed phase and the dispersion medium. The solute-like component or the dispersed particle in a colloid form the dispersed phase, and the component in which the dispersed phase is suspended is known as the dispersing medium. Colloids are classified according to the state, solid, liquid or gas, of the dispersing medium and the dispersed phase. Colloidal solutions have three subclassifications: foams, emulsions and sol. So what is the difference between these three: foams, emulsions and sol? First, foam. Foam is this setting is created by ensnaring a gas in a liquid. The substance being dispersed would be the gas, triggering the fluid to become frothy and foamy. A sample of this would be shaving cream. An emulsion is a combination of liquids. It's basically when one liquid is consistently dispersed all through another liquid. A sample of this would be mayonnaise or milk. The third form is called a sol, which is when a solid is evenly dispersed throughout a fluid Samples of sols include paint, blood, and silver aquasols. So this is all about the foams, emulsions, and sol. Now you can see in this particular slides the different examples of colloids and dispersed phase, dispersing medium, type, and examples. Now, separation of components of mixture. How to separate the various components present in the mixture? What are the processes and what are the techniques to separate the various mixture of the component? The first method is centrifugation. This method of centrifugation, centripetal and centrifugal forces are used to separate lighter and heavier components of mixture of two immiscible liquids. This process is used to separate very small solids, particles from a liquid mixture. Example, milk is the mixture of fat, water, and other constituents. Using the method of centrifugation, most of the fat can be separated from milk. In milk, fat is suspended throughout the milk, which is separated out using the method of centrifugation. When milk is churned rapidly, water, which is heavier than fat, migrates away from the center of centrifuge, while fat is forced towards the bottom, which is drained out. So you can see how the centrifugation process works. The picture is showing in this particular slide a cream and a skim milk. So density measurement point is there. So raw milk we are putting into the centrifugal machines. Now what are the applications of centrifugation? First, in pathological test of blood and urine. Blood and urine test done by the centrifugation methods, or you can say process of centrifugation. In separation of fat from milk, if you want to separate fat from milk, we use a centrifugation method. In washing machines, to squeeze the water from wet clothes. We also apply the centrifugation process in washing machines. Nowadays lots of work, or you can say clothing, washing of clothing done by the washing machines. So that is also based on the centrifugation concepts or centrifugation process. The next important process, mixture purification, is decantation. Decantation is used to separate the components from mixture of two immiscible liquids, such as mixture of oil and water. In a mixture of two immiscible liquids, lighter one and heavier one form separate layer. The lighter one can be decanted after settling of mixture carefully in other container. In this process of decantation, some of the heavier liquid also poured out with lighter one. Therefore, components from a mixture of two immiscible liquids can be separated more easily and accurately using a separating funnel. So this is all about the second lecture of today's second lecture of class 9 CBSE board. So thank you very much. Goodbye.